Hello, love. Welcome to the ChiLOVE Radio Show, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium. I am the founder, owner, and host, Melanie Hogan. The ChiLOVE Radio Show is an all-inclusive platform to converse about love, life, overcoming obstacles, and elevation. These journeys are a process, and you are not alone. We are located in Chicago, Illinois. I hope all is well with you as we begin with today's topic. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced that she will be using the Illinois Street Gang Prevention Act to decrease violence. Here in Chicago, I don't want to say as usual, but as usual, the violence is at an all-time high. They are running out of ideas. She says that this strategy will allow the city to sue gang members to take their assets. It's an opportunity to bring these violent street gangs into civil court, expose them for what they are by taking their profits and assets for killing our babies. The idea sounds good. I must say that when Kanye West was first getting reprimanded, he did say in one of his verses that he had to act sane when they got to messing with his money. So we can be on to something with that. The only thing is, in my opinion, a lot of these shooters out here don't have a lot of money. Collectively as a gang, a lot of them pushing some weight. Collectively as a gang. But the little ones who are out here that's doing the shooting and running around, they don't have the bag. So, in order for this to really be effective, I think she would have to get to the top people, those who control the money. They maybe reprimand them for their members' activities. Also, just because you win a lawsuit in court and the judge says that you are owed a specific amount of money does not mean that the person who has lost the lawsuit has the funds to pay. And how much are we actually taxing for killing our babies? What is the cost of life? Because one thing that is for certain, there aren't a lot of rich Chiracians who are, out here in these streets hustling. So one of their main complaints is the lack of money. One of their complaints is the poverty. So if somebody is already impoverished, you can't get blood from a turnip. Now, if you're going to hit these big hitters, hit the head, then yeah, you can probably do something with that. But even still, it's not like they're receiving direct deposit, to where you could put a lien or whatever, contact their job and put a lien against their money so that you can get your money. This is street money. So then you have to figure out a way to get this money up out of these people. But the idea is nice. And we definitely need to try any and everything at this point. And, it was just an idea. And, of course, she's experiencing some opposition. And, people are saying that this will not stop crime. But in order for this ordinance to even be approved, the Chicago City Council has to approve it before it becomes law. Now, we have a former gang member, Carlos Vega, who's with the Intervention Navigator for Build Chicago. He's one of the opposing people. He feels like his strategy actually works better. His mission is to stop other young people from going down the same path as himself because he is a rehabilitated ex-felon. He says that these children want to be hustlers. Money is fueling the gang violence. That's a part of it. He says that when you are on the block, weapons are needed for security. That's true. The city cannot arrest their way out of this problem. I agree with that as well. But he left out something that is just as important as the money. The love. As much as Chirac claims to be a loveless, lawless city within the city of Chicago, they are full of love. And I know it might not seem like it on the outside looking in, and all you hear is the report of the dead body or the shots. But when you start to get a chance to hear the stories behind the shooting, these boys and girls have formed a family. Their family is what society calls gangs. And we know that within a family, if somebody gets touched, everybody got to move. Somebody got to make something happen and bring some type of justice about to that. So while we're looking at them as gangs, as the cancer of society, they're killing each other out of love. And I'm not saying that it is acceptable or it's okay. But do you see the hurt in these kids' faces? On these kids' posts when one of their people get killed. They be hurt. They so full of hurt and anger. And yes, their lifestyle does put them in a position for this type of repercussion. It does. But to meet a person where they are, and this is where they are, one cannot say that love is not a key factor in why these bodies are dropping. Watch these videos. Listen to what they're saying. Because it's not a secret. I don't understand why the police is steady saying we need the cooperation of the public to find out what's going on in these streets. The streets are telling on themselves. Listen to them. They're talking. They're talking. And they're hurt. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of talent. It's a lot of creativity. When they are not in the presence of ops, you get to see their humanity. And they vow to protect theirs. We have a judicial process that society says that we should go through in order to handle our situations. But come on. The people are at war with the judicial process. The people are at war with the government. Why? Because they tell you that life is not fair. And then when you realize that it's people who created the policies, who created the laws, who set everything up, supposed to be humans, set it up to where it's not fair. And if you could set it up to where it's not fair, you can set it to where it is fair. There are like so many multi-worlds within one. What you experience in life may be totally different from your neighbor who living across the street from you. or from somebody on the other side of town. They already feel like nobody cares. I read a comment on one of these videos, and the boy said, the police just be letting us kill ourselves. And I said, WTF? The police just be letting us kill ourselves. First of all, you like definitely taking away self-accountability. Even if the police are dropping the crates of guns off, you don't have to pick them up. But seeing the circumstances and the situations, I'm understanding why you're picking them up. But to say something like that, I feel like that's a call for help. You're letting me hurt myself. Think about that as a parent. As a parent. And you telling your child not to do something, they want to do it, and they getting a little hard-headed. And then you just fall back and, let them see for themselves. That child gets a little boo-boo. That child looking at you crazy like, you let me do this. Even though they was fighting you every step of the way. These are kids. That's a child's mentality. Sometimes people are so desperate for some type of attention, they will take the negative attention. You're not comfortable with yourself. You don't know who you are. You don't even know how to tap into who you are. The people around you telling you you're nothing, you never be nothing. Or you might have people who are, because there are a lot of people that's up in the hood that encourages their children and make so many sacrifices so that their children don't have to get it out the mud or don't have to go into the mud as deeply as they had to get it. And you have, adolescents who realize that they're not little boys and little girls anymore, and they're at the stage where they realize in their brains and their ability to make decisions, and they want to feel some, test some things out, regardless of what you're saying. Is that natural? That's natural. We've all been teenagers. We've all been at that age. No, we all have not ran and got guns and started shooting people and collecting bodies. But different strokes for different folks. There is a war out here. These babies are leading it through these streets. A lot of the adults are afraid of these children. And some rightfully so. Because honest to God, you can look into some of these kids' faces, baby, and you don't see a little young little gentleman, little lady. Sometimes you see a little demon in the eyes. Look in the eyes. And at this point, you as an adult are not safe in the presence of this child. So it's like there's a mixture of those who are engaged with this street life, either by choice, by force, or circumstance. And it's mixed with people who are trying to find other ways to live life and, get jobs and, I guess, live the regular life. And everybody, there's no segregation with that. And unfortunately, we having innocent bodies dropping. And it's a crazy thing. But if you talk to these babies, they're going to tell you, Mama, I'm not trying to die. In a lifestyle where death or jail is inevitable, almost, but for the most part. And to hear them say, I don't want to die. Can you imagine what a person's brain is going through in them moments when they feel like they finna die. Can you imagine what you would or wouldn't do in them moments when you honestly felt like you was finna die? We all wear our own shoes, but ain't nothing wrong with understanding somebody else's situation. Being empathetic, being open-minded, because constantly making them outcasts, that's not going to make anything better. So when they around an environment who's saying, we don't want you, and yes, the environment saying we don't want you over here because we have nothing to do with your beef, and these people are coming over here because you all are over here, and our lives are in danger. And that is understandable. That's understandable. But when they already feeling like outcasts, when they already feeling like they don't even have the basic respect from a person, not saying that they deserve it, but have you ever just not had something and then when you got it, started to feel worth something? A little more worthy? Because you was even acknowledged in that light? We could be changing lives out here just by the way that we treat each other. They are out here fighting. It's been a long fight. Some of them don't know the history of the fight, but they are creating new history. They are creating new enemies for each other. And they know what the circumstances is between them and their ops. They understand that much. They very disrespectful to each other. Extremely disrespectful to each other. One can't think that the other crew is weak. We all grew up on the same land, regardless of what side of the land we grew up on. This is Chicago. Don't nobody hard pump Kool-Aid here. It might take some longer to move than others. Some a little fast on that move. But at the end of the day, everybody gonna rise. So you can't think that you the toughest motherfucker out here. Because somebody gonna come and see about you. Especially when you got somebody with the mindset where they like, okay, this regular world, they told me I'm nothing here, but I'm everything in these streets. They acknowledging me for hurting other people. They acknowledging me for the bodies that I get, for the type of rams that I lay down. They say that this is bad, but I'm pretty good at it. So now when your name is ringing out there as one of them tough ones, somebody who's trying to be up and coming, know that I need to take you out. Because you don't get no stripes from taking down somebody who is lightweight. Ain't no stripes. That's practice. When you coming for the title, you got to come up against something that's going to make you work. So when these boys is out here and they didn't start to develop these mentalities because the other side not even trying to understand them enough to let them in or anything. The other side don't even acknowledge them as humans, although they themselves call themselves savages. But when a person is blind, it's okay to help them see. When a person is blind, it's okay to lead them to the light. It's okay to help them to see. Now, that's their choice to see. But they can't never say that they ain't never been treated that way, that they don't know what that is. They just, refuse to get with the program or whatever their agenda was. It's a lot of healing that's needed out here. It's so many people got PTSD, it's ridiculous. About a month ago, one of the little boys who called me mama around here got killed. And it hurts my soul. Because I'm so used to seeing him. They don't stay over here, but this is like their little kicky spot. And I make them clean up behind their themselves. And I treat them like they somebody, like they my babies. And when I see them, they ain't cutting up and getting off into stuff. They chilling. And they killed this baby over here. And I'm not saying that hands was clean on either side, but when you get to see the human part of a person, when you see that they believe in God, despite the lifestyle that they live in, when you hear them saying that I have a soul. I know I'm doing this, but I have a soul. You just can't give up on those type of people. And they killed this baby. And it's like you never know what your presence meant to anybody. And you might think nobody cares about you. Nobody's going to show up. Nobody's going to do anything about it. But there are times when you will find that people love you for real. Love you for real. Was happy that your presence was made known to them. And then somebody comes and takes it. And it's like, we all really act like we don't understand why these bodies are dropping. It's like they got enough hearts to move for each other. And I know that's not the society way. But at the same time, if you look at history and the Constitution and everything, it's always been a war between the people and the government. They set it up so the people could start to speak up, to come against certain things, to make change. That's why this is the United States. Do we have some poor coping skills? Yes, we do. And at the same time, we can't even say that these kids' behaviors are just theirs, like they just pulled it out the sky. Chirac and CPD have so many similarities in the way that they move. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like they trying to extinguish each other but themselves at the same time, because they actually move very, very similar, especially when it comes to you touching one of theirs. But because you're not licensed, because you're not trained, because you're not a part of this establishment, you're not allowed to move that way as a civilian. But will people be constantly having to pick up the sword and use it themselves if the justice system did what it is supposed to do? How many times can a person just keep taking injustices before they start to lose their minds. Some people are going out and shooting other people. Others are smoking weed, drinking, sexing. Everybody got their own coping mechanism for it. Everybody has their own coping mechanism for it. And that is one thing that a lot of us can relate to, an injustice. Now, what you did about that injustice might be different from the next person. But everybody not, unfortunately, everybody not waiting on Mama Daddy God. Everybody not waiting on the universe to step on in. Universe to get them, Mama Daddy God to get them. Everybody not waiting on it. Everybody not waiting to go through due process. A lot of these court cases take like a minimum of 2 years. And then at the end of that, it still may not be justice. These boys have publicly caught bodies, had reports on going to jail, was not charged. So that adds to a person feeling invincible. The police are complaining about we have no cooperation for the people, or there's minimal cooperation from the people. They telling everything. They're telling everything themselves. The people don't need to get involved and be a witness. And then somebody find out that Miss So-and-so then told the police whatever. Now Miss So-and-so gonna have to move, baby. Because the police is not gonna sit out there 24/7. And the way these boys get to shooting at the police these days, listen. You gotta do what you need to do to keep yourself protected, to keep yourself safe. And the police, if you want the cooperation that you seek, you need to be able to protect people for real. For real. Because obviously, the people aren't scared of the police. And then when the police come through, like after a shooting, for example, they come out, it's like you jumping out and you ready to start shooting because you done heard some shots. But it's like, take a pause and find out what's going on before you just be so overly aggressive and so ready. Take a deep breath. This your job. Find out who it is first. Find out what's going on first. Y'all come out ready to shoot just like they are. Objectively speaking, if it's some real war stuff and you want some soldiers, that's how you're supposed to move. You need people who gonna move. But seeing that this is y'all job, and it's like, it's even bigger than the police. I can't even, come all the way down. Everybody needs to be held accountable. Everybody needs to be held accountable, from the families. The government and the laws have restricted parental rights and parental allowances. So much so that the children feel like they don't have to listen to the parent. So much so that the children feel like they'll fight the parent. So, okay, you're not going to listen at home. And the law says that you're limited as to what you can and cannot do as far as disciplining this child. But then the other law, the police, gets into an altercation with the child where the child is talking to the police exactly like he talks to his mama or his daddy. This child mouth busted, a body on the ground. We need to reset, allow parents to parent these children, You come in as backup to the parent as long as it's not like abuse allegations and so forth. I'm not speaking on behalf of abusive parents. But when a parent is saying that the child needs to stay up in the house, you need to come in, and there needs to be a team to come in to support that family and to check in on that child and to see what's going on that has this child behaving like this. Because they'll tell you. They'll tell you a lot of times at what point they snapped. They will tell you when that last straw hit. And you can't just shrug it off. Oh, you're a kid, you don't have problems. Oh, we all have problems, shake it off. Oh, pull your big girl drawers up. Oh, that's why we got so much mental illness. That's why we have so much mental illness. Because everybody's steady saying we the people, but we're not treating each other humanely. Just because something is unfamiliar to you, you could even detest something. You don't have to kill it. You could disagree with somebody and you go your way, they go their way. Everything don't have to come down to a war. And everybody love to put it out here on these kids. But look at how y'all act at your job. Look at how you act in your families. Look at how you act in the churches. Look at how you act when you feel like you better than somebody else. Your character. The way that you treat people. The golden rule. Treat others as you will want to be treated. How everybody saying they so broke and so impoverished, but has such the entitlement of thinking that they can treat somebody however they want to with no repercussion. You got shit fucked up. You so broke, but you so entitled to feel like you could mistreat somebody else and nobody better not say nothing or do nothing about it. That's not real life, and it definitely isn't Chicago. So what are we going to do? Because honestly, the way things are going, it look like a purge is coming. The energy in the air is different. People are at their wits' end. I ran across a story with a lady who shot her son over a SIM card. Okay? And they said this lady, had like a little mental health issues, but this wasn't her character. Look at how much that's going on, and these people are saying they tired. They can't take no more. They not gonna take anymore. Something has to change. And I think that the first step is within ourselves. Within ourselves. And we need to find out why we acting like we acting. Why we treating others like we treating others. Because you going through something. Because you got this, that, and the other going on. You don't think the next person got a hell of a story too? That's not acceptable. It can be understood as far as your reason for your behavior, but it's not acceptable. We are destroying each other. And this is far deeper than the streets. This is far deeper than just suing somebody, which I tell you, you got some people out here who feel like if nobody is going to touch me or touch my money, they could say whatever. They could do whatever. So they might be on to something with that. It might not be effective for all of the gangs, but for some of them. Especially if you've done some homework and know where the money at. So now you can walk them to the money than to have them give it up. But as far as waiting on them to bring it to you, come on. Threatening them with jail time, come on. Come on. The correctional officers, they may make it, kind of uncomfortable or very uncomfortable up in there, but the inmates, you form another family, another group of people to help you get through. So if a person got to do a little time just to keep their money, a lot of people will. But I'll tell you this, she's trying. She's trying. They use this method in certain suburbs, and it's effective there. Suburbs are a lot smaller than Chicago, but she's trying. And we need to keep pushing buttons to see what is working and what is not working. And then when we get that information together, populate a little plan to really have effective solutions. And this is not just on the mayor. This is not just on the police. This is not just on the parents. This is on all of us collectively. We all have a role to play. We all have a role to play, especially when a lot of these babies are entering gang life at like 12 and 13. The little man I was speaking of earlier, Carlos, he said he's had people as young as 9 years old that he's had to help to rehabilitate. But Carlos sleep on the ones who was born into the gang. They whole life, before they could talk, they was throwing up the sign or throwing down whatever. So there is a lot of work to be done. We all have a lot of work to do on ourselves personally. We all have a lot of work that we need to do out here in society. Everybody plays a part one way or another, even if it is watching your mouth, even if it is just watching and being more aware of how you are treating others. That can make a huge difference. You ever been down one day and somebody just said good morning or paid you a compliment or just their energy just lifted you? Believe enough within yourself to know that you can make a difference. And while we wrap up our first show of our second season of the ChiLOVe Radio Show, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium, I like to leave you with this quote. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. That was by Walt Disney. And if you have any children who you know need a safe haven, not even children, just young adults, there is a Safe Haven Youth Overnight Shelter from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day for the ages of between 18 and 24. They are located at 2750 West Roosevelt Road. Their number is 773-435-8300. Ring the bell on the front of the building and tell them that you are looking for a youth shelter, and they will help. See, that's the way right there. Just by passing that on. When somebody think that he got to go rob somebody to get some type of money to get a hotel room so he can go to sleep, there's a resource. Something as simple as that. I love y'all. Hugs, love.